This coverage of IFA 2014 is brought to you by Sony Xperia. Don't settle for good, demand great. Hello everybody, this is soyachinchao.com and this is the latest Sony Xperia Z3 smartphone that's launched at IFA 2014. So right after the Xperia Z1 and Z2, Sony has updated the design on the Z3 with a curved frame instead of using flat edges, so it feels more comfortable to hold and looks pretty good. Let's talk about the design first. The frames are still using aluminium, but if you look at the corners, it is actually different. It feels like hard plastic, and Sony says that it uses resin material which helps to increase durability, especially when you drop your phone. If you look around, it still uses flap covers, which this time features more rounded corners. On the Xperia Z2, we didn't like the long flap on the left side, which covers both micro USB and micro SIM slot, and it appears that Sony has fixed this problem. On the Xperia Z3, they have moved the nano SIM and micro SD card slot on the right, while the frequently open micro USB port now has its own smaller standalone flap. This makes it more practical when charging with power banks. Dimension-wise, the Xperia Z3 is rather slim at just 7.3mm and it weighs just 152 grams. That's close to a millimeter thinner and 11 grams lighter than the Xperia Z2. Waterproofing is still one of Sony's biggest credentials, and on the latest Xperias, including the Z3, Z3 Compact, and M2 Aqua, they're all rated at IP68, which is the highest currently for a smartphone. So you can submerge this comfortably up to 1.5 meters deep for 30 minutes in fresh water. Going through the specs, the Xperia Z3 is powered by the current 2.5 GHz Quad-Core Snapdragon 801 processor that's mated to 3 GB of RAM. There's also 16 GB of onboard storage that you can expand with micro SD card. The front gets a 5.2-inch Full HD 1080p screen, which is the same resolution as the previous model, and you get the same triluminous and XReality display technology. Sony is boasting that the Xperia Z3 can deliver up to 2 days of battery life, and the major factor here is the display. Beyond the spec sheet, the display has been improved dramatically to increase outdoor visibility without using too much power. When compared to the Xperia Z2, the Z3 has more cooler whites and uses IPS panel for all-round great visibility. Now onto the camera. The Sony Xperia Z3 still has a main 20.7MP camera at the rear and a front-facing 2MP for selfies. While it looks like the same camera since the original Z1, the 20.7MP shooter is actually all new. The camera module itself is thinner than the previous model, which makes it possible for the Xperia Z3 to be thinner. And the G-lens now has a wider 25mm angle versus 27mm on the previous model. Low light performance claims to be improved as well, with an ISO 12800 in superior auto mode, which is double the previous maximum of ISO 6400 on the Xperia Z2. The SteadyShot function on the Xperia Z2 was pretty good, especially when it comes to video recording. The Xperia Z3 has added a new SteadyShot feature with intelligent active mode, which claims to be superior than optical-based stabilization. Like the previous Xperia Z1 and Z2, there are a couple of new camera apps as well. On the Xperia Z3, they've added a face-in feature, which uses both front and rear cameras to take a picture or a video. There's also a new multi-camera mode, where you can add additional camera views from another Xperia smartphone, QX camera, or even from their tiny action camera. For audio, Sony still retains the front-firing stereo speakers, and apart from having built-in digital noise cancellation, they've also incorporated high-res audio for a better listening experience. Of course, you need to pair it with a set of high-res enabled headphones. If you don't have access to high-res audio content, the Xperia Z3 has DC-X, which upscales your audio content seamlessly. Out of the box, it runs on the latest Android 4.4.4 KitKat, and there's even an option to do a screen video recording as well. The onboard battery is smaller than the previous model at 3100 mAh capacity, but with the latest tweaks and improved display, Sony is confident that it could last up to 2 days of average use. In terms of colors, Sony has discontinued the iconic purple color, and they have introduced 2 new colors with green and copper, and along with the standard black and white color options as well. That's all for now, and this is just a quick look at the new Sony Xperia Z3. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments, and do subscribe to our channel. This is soyachinchao.com, and see you guys later.